always say people from the North Shore of New Brunswick were the closest people on the planet. We party with each other, we sleep with each other, we go to school with each other, we fight with each other, but we take up for each other. And unfortunately, one of the women persons I respect the most from the North Shore recently passed away. I'm sorry I have a little bit of laryngitis, but the news that broke on Christmas Day, my heart is still breaking here because Candy and I went way back. She was a student at DRHS when I was a student there as well. We became good friends over the years, and even though we're not in the same genre of media, she's much more diverse than me. I'm mostly a print person. Everything Candy did turned to gold. Now, she was suffering from a physical condition for a number of weeks. She got into the hospital. She seemed to was on the road to either partial recovery or recovery. Her wife Denise had been very close in what they call the healing process. She was released, and unfortunately she passed away suddenly at home on December 25th. Now, there's no way to celebrate Candy's life in one podcast, but the force of nature, the force of love, and the force of positivity she was to us all will live in us for literally hundreds and thousands of years. I was thinking about this. How are we going to talk about the podcast? No matter how much I live from now on, I'm 56 now. Every day of my life there will be no Candy in it, and that's a tragedy not only for me, but of the whole North Shore community. She meant so much and did so much and was a role model. She was my diva. She was intelligent beyond any recognition of what intelligence is. She changed the rules what it was like to be an indigenous person in Northern New Brunswick because she spread out in so many genres. The only person I can really compare her with that when I was growing up was Chief Dan George, who could be a narrator, an actor, a presenter, a lobbyist, a person of nature. Candy was all these things and many, many more. So we're going to go over a little of our Wikipedia information for the novice, and I'm going to talk a little bit as we go along, because the aspect of a life can never be judged by what you do when you're here. Is when you're gone, the spirit that you live. Now, Sacred Fire's up in Eagle Bar, I think up until Friday or Saturday. So anybody in the Eagle Bar area wants to drop in. Some of the elders and some of the community volunteers are working on a 24/7 celebration. So if you want to drop in, drop a memory, drop a prayer, do a smudge, whatever you feel is appropriate in the whole situation. Now, Candy, of course, hails from the beautiful community of Point Lynn, New Brunswick. She is, again, from the Eagle Bar First Nation. Now, she's been a Canadian actress, comedian, and broadcaster for a number of years, but she started off her life in the, the educational field. She eventually became a lawyer. Now, she was most well known for being the creator and writer of a very, very classic and oft-repeated, oft-celebrated talk show for APTN, The Candy Show, which would host a wide, diverse group of people from the Maritimes across Canada that would celebrate music and dance and all different spiritual and entertainment categories. Now, she also hosted the Candy Palmater show on CBC's Radio 1 in summer of 2016. Now, Candy's voice was part of her attraction as well as a presenter. She was a narrator in many categories. She's done the Aboriginal tattoo series, informational series, Skindigenous. Check it out if you can. She's done, again, very CBC radio shows. She's been a guest on The Next Chapter. She's done all kind of different stuff. Now, she grew up in Point Lynn, New Brunswick, and was the youngest of 7 children. And she would always say she was raised by a very diverse family. She was very close to a bunch of family friends she called bikers. That was a big influence on her, her appreciation of all things music and all things of the world and life. She had a diverse way of looking at things which came from her upbringing. Now, when I first met her at DRHS, she was very involved in sports and very socially active as well. What really stunned me about the first time I met her was the raw intelligence that she presented, because everything she did, there was a level of intelligence that was sort of comical, but in a positive. She would never try to put anybody down. But the brains this lady had, there was no. I even knew back then. I think I first met her when she was 14 or 15. Say this person is going places. Now this is the year before I started journalism, and I think she was in grade 9 or grade 10 at the time, and she was almost ready to go at that time. She may have been 14, 15, but we all knew from all the people from Dalhousie, Jacket over Lorne, her friends and her family, we knew she was going to go places. Now, after high school, she decided to go to St. Thomas University and eventually completed a legal secretary's course at the Maritime Business College. Now, she was eventually inspired by the legal failures of the Donald Marshall Jr. case. Anybody knows anything about that case has been a big impact on Mi'kmaq people like us for many years, and the mistreatment of his wrongful conviction. Now, she eventually went to Dalhousie University in Halifax to study law at Dalhousie Law School, where she graduated in 1999 as a valedictorian of her class. To my knowledge, she was the first Aboriginal law student in Canada. I'm not sure about worldwide, obviously Australia and the States, but in Canada, to be valedictorian of her graduating class, and was also president of the Dalhousie Aboriginal Law Students Association. Now, she eventually got a job with the now defunct law firm Patterson, Palmer, Hunt and Murphy, but soon realized she didn't want to practice corporate law, and subsequently left her job and began working for the Nova Scotia Department of Education. Now, after being a regular contributor to CBC Radio's Definitely Not the Opera, she was a regular columnist again in the next chapter, and a written host of Q, and a columnist for the now defunct Halifax newspaper, The Daily News, where she wrote a series for Mi'kmaq History Month. Now, she became a stand-up comedian throughout this changeover from corporate law to the regular thing. And the LGBT community, she became politically active, very strong presenter of what they call the Aboriginal humor stand-up. That's very, very prevalent with all the First Nations in the Maritimes. You look at Ilver Bar, through the years we've had a lot of great athletes and presenters and community leaders, but she broke out as a major stand-up. I think it was 7 or 8 times she's doing stand-up. She was a featured player for the Halifax Comedy Festival, and it started from there. Now, again, eventually CBC News World did a 1-hour documentary on Palmater titled The Candy Show. This was produced and directed by Mary Munson in Halifax, and executive producer, of course, was the great René Palmater. Now, the Candy Show appeared regularly on APTN for a number of years. Check it out in repeats. It was being shown late night for quite some time, and it's a kind of what they call an old-fashioned 1990 style talk show in the year 2000s. Now, she was very close with her family, her mother especially, and her mother was a very special guest on a few shows, and the connection that she had with her family is very important to talk about. Like I said, one podcast doesn't cover the whole thing, but just going to touch the bases. Now, her first film she produced, called Building Legends in Mi'kmaq, a canoe project in 2011. Now, as an actress, she's been all over the place. She's had roles in the award-winning television series Forgive Me, Sex and Violence, and of course her now classic appearance on Trailer Park Boys, where her and Randy got into a battle in front of Snoop Doggy Dogg. Has to be seen to believe probably the best nipple-twisting episode in world comedy history. Now, she eventually had a daily CBC radio summer series, The Campbell Palmer Show, which debuted on March 30th, 2016. Now, following the end of the show's run, she did another stint as the guest host of Q for several weeks in September and October of that year, between the departure of Shad and the debut of permanent new host Tom Power. Now, in 2007, she was a panelist on Canada Reads, advocating for Catalina Vermette's novel the break. Now, she's also been a frequent guest panelist on CBC Radio 1's comedy series Because News, which has been hosted by the great Gavin Crawford. Now, prior to her death, now this is the big tragedy a lot of people have not talked about this week, but I think I should mention it. She had been slated to have a recurring role on the very highly anticipated CBC television sitcom Run the Burbs. And a lot of people felt it was going to break her, maybe to a bigger international audience, because rumor has it because of the success of Schitt's Creek and the various CBC productions for comedy, Run the Burbs would probably get a strong international presence down the road. Now, she's also done work on CTV for the very popular female talk show, The Social, where she would talk on different issues. Now, again, she was also nominated for numerous awards through the year. She's won Inspire Awards. She was named one of the East Coast Music Awards nominees for Media Person of the Year 2013. And the Candy Show has also been nominated for Canadian Screen Awards for Best Direction as well. She was also, again, Forgive Me. Check out her performance in Forgive Me. She got an actor nomination for Best Supporting Actress in the series, which, of course, stars the former Oscar winner Olympia Dukakis. Now, talking about her diverse life, big fan of books. Candy's recommendations were kind of a running, call around the Goodreads list. Anything Candy loved, she had an immense book collection. She was always talking about that. That's why in the next chapter, in different shows, it was a joke that Candy probably had to reform her book collection because she had collected so many over the years. She was an avid reader. Now, her and her wife, again, were very close over the years on various items and projects and causes they believed in. And Denise, all her love and support and prayers go to you. We don't. There's no words to really state how much this is a loss for not only you but everybody else. But we have to remember you two are a force in your life together, and there's no words to say what can be done to. All I can say is I wish you healing and wish everybody that loved and cared and knew Candy, or friends in Toronto, or friends across the Maritimes, or friends in Halifax. One podcast, like I said, it's a broken record. There's no way I can say it. She was a million bright lights in a universe of a billion lights, and who she touched over the years with her talent. We're all going to celebrate. But all I remember, ladies and gentlemen, there was a period, I think, from when she started stand-up to the height of the Candy Show, and she got on cue. Everybody in the Maritimes was wondering what's Candy going to do next. What's Candy going to do? What she's going to conquer next? Because anything she put her mind to, she could do it. But you look at where she could have been in the next 5-10 years if the CBC thing would happen. And she's doing a biography of her life that will be released very soon in print form. Editing stages is going on. We talked about that a number of times. She told me she's really looking forward to the impact of that book it would have. So all I can say is this: when you lose somebody like this, you feel the blow right away, the heaviness of the loss. But there has been no person like her that has ever come from Northern New Brunswick. And this is a compliment. We're all unique in our own way, but she took the talent that God, the Creator, gave her, and she spread it all over Turtle Island, and she drew love and gave love. And like the Beatles said, the love you take is equal to the love you make. And we all love her. We're really going to miss her. And the legacy is there, the humor is there, the professionalism, the overall skill. Loved her makeup, loved her girly stuff. You go on her Facebook and I would see all her presentation of this makeup she was getting into. See, I'm not a gay man, but if I was going to create a diva out of all the parts of what a gay man and a straight man needed, put a straight man and a gay man together in a room and say, make us a diva. And I said, one person, the gay man would say, well, what about Candy Palmater? The straight man would say, I would have said that, but I wanted you to say it first. She was a diva to us all, but a diva in a good way. What she said motivated us to celebrate what love is all about. And to her family, her friends, her colleagues, the people that work with her, the people that will miss her, my God, let's all say a prayer for you, because I can't, even doing this podcast right now, I can't put my mind about it. It's been a week, it's been feeling like a year. Maybe it was good I was sick for the last 5 or 6 days not to do this, to keep my mind right. And I'll be looking for her for the rest of my life. When I go up home on the Bay of Chaleur, where we both grew up, looking out towards Heron Island, and looking out towards the wharf in New Mills and Ile Bar, and just driving downtown Ile Bar, which is only 2 miles. You drive down the main street of Ile Bar, you're gone before it even starts. It's going to be hard, but like I said, let's keep the love that she brought us, and hug each other. If you're a friend of Candy, if you've never met before, give each other a hug, because that's what she gave us in everything she did. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing here with our podcast channel, let us know with a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, check out Candy's work on YouTube, especially, again, if you can find it, all the productions, her CBC work. She did a whole bunch of YouTubes for years, and again, just tremendous. Have a good day. God bless you all. Bye.